Former FBI Assistant Director James Kallstrom just told us how some folks at the Bureau are in disbelief over today's announcement from Director Comey. And our next guest says not only does he think the decision defies explanation, he thinks it helps create the impression that some folks in Washington believe Hillary Clinton is above the law. Joining me now in a Kelly File exclusive, House Speaker Paul Ryan. Mr. Speaker, good of you to be here tonight. Thank you for being here.
Good to be with you, Megyn. Thanks for having me.
So why do you say that people are going to believe that she's above the law? Because the FBI director, by all accounts, a straight shooter, says no reasonable prosecutor would have brought this case.
He basically spent a number of minutes walking through how she not only mishandled classified information, how she was grossly negligent. It seemed to me, as he was going through his case, that he was going to recommend prosecution. Only then he recommended against prosecution. People have been convicted for far less. And the point is, yes, this certainly does underscore the belief that the Clintons live above the law. And this is one of the reasons why people are so dissatisfied, so upset about government. They think that people live by a different set of rules. And the Clintons, they take the candle on this one. I'd say a couple of things, Megyn. Number one, the FBI should give us all of their findings. They should release all of their findings of this information. She's actually, competing for a commander-in-chief here. So I think there's a whole accounting that needs to happen. Number two, we're going to have hearings. Jason Chaffetz, chairman of the Government Oversight Committee, is going to be calling up James Comey to ask questions. He didn't answer any questions with the press, and our Judiciary Committee has sent a number of questions. There are a lot of unanswered questions here, Megyn, that need to get answers to.
Do you think he caved to political pressure?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. I'll take him at his word. But what I don't really understand is, after he lists this laundry list of violations, he comes to that conclusion. That's point number one. Point number two.
Well, but that's what he said. Just before you get to point number two, what he said was in the other cases there was evidence of intentional deception or intention to undermine national security or obstruction of justice, and he didn't see her behavior rising to that level.
Yeah, your legal background is certainly deeper than mine. I do other things here, but the point is, she clearly lives above the law. Let me say this. He shredded the case that she had been making all year long. He shredded the things that she had been saying in her own defense all year long about her case.
So now that's a different issue. He put the lie. He put the lie to a bunch of her statements, and that seems pretty clear. So, but you tell me, do you think that's disqualifying for her?
Well, sure I do. I think she clearly said things that were not true, and he basically gave us that. I think we need to know more, quite frankly. The other thing that concerns me is that she's just going to get away with this in the sense that she grossly was negligent. She mishandled classified information, and now she wants to be commander-in-chief. Here's the other thing. When I was Mitt Romney's running mate, I got classified briefings every week by the CIA, by National Intelligence, very sensitive information, which you get as a candidate once the convention occurs. Comey said, short of prosecution, some kind of administration action should occur, bringing consequences. I think the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, should block her access to classified information, given how recklessly she handled this during the presidential campaign. If she becomes president, that's one thing, but I don't think she should get classified information, and I think the DNI should block it, given how recklessly she handled this from the start.
Let's take a look to see how President Obama feels about Hillary Clinton and whether that is likely to happen, if he has anything to say about it. Here he is in October of 2015. Listen.
This is not a situation in which America's national security was endangered.
So, maybe or maybe not, according to the FBI director. Does the president owe the American people an update to his earlier statement? Because Comey says it may have been.
The president, I've heard him say things with such certainty that we know later on aren't the case. Look, obviously, as Comey said, people she was communicating with got hacked, and therefore she clearly could have been hacked. He certainly raises that possibility. What really just mystifies me is the case he makes and then the conclusion he draws. And what bothers me about this is the Clintons really are living above the law. They're being held by a different set of standards. That is clearly what this looks like.
Okay, so what
this is why we're going to have hearings, and this is why I think that Comey should give us all the publicly available information to see how and why they reach these conclusions.